Egypt, Arab countries refuse to take in Palestinian refugees from Gaza. Why? Some people in Gaza are wondering why Egypt and Jordan, which are close by, aren't taking in the fleeing Palestinians as refugees, as Israel continues to rain bombs down on the besieged territory. In reprisal for Hamas's deadly attack on October 7, the Israeli military has been launching its assault. In retribution for Hamas's strike on October 7, the two nations, which surround Israel on opposite sides and share borders with Gaza and, respectively, the occupied West Bank, have given a resolute rejection as a response. There is already a significant Palestinian presence in Jordan. On Wednesday, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi delivered his harshest statements to far. He said that the present assault was not just focused at combating Hamas, which administers the Gaza Strip, but also an attempt to push the civilian inhabitants to migrate to Egypt. He cautioned that this might seriously threaten the peace in the area. A day earlier, King Abdullah II of Jordan sent a similar warning, declaring, "No refugees in Jordan, and there will be no refugees in Egypt." Their opposition stems from the worry that Israel intends to coerce a permanent deportation of Palestinians into their nations and thwart Palestinian claims for statehood. This fear is at the basis of their refusal. El-Sisi also said that a large exodus would run the risk of sending extremists into Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. From there, they may begin assaults on Israel, putting the peace accord that has been in place between Egypt and Israel for the last 4 decades in jeopardy. Hello, and welcome to today's video where we discuss Egypt, Arab countries refuse to take in Palestinian refugees from Gaza. Why? But before we dive into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's discuss more details. The reasons for Egypt's and Jordan's positions are broken out below for your perusal. A history of people being moved around. A prominent recurring motif throughout Palestinian history is that of being uprooted. During the conflict that occurred in 1948 around the establishment of Israel, an estimated 700,000 Palestinians were driven out of what is now Israel or left the country. The Palestinians call the occurrence the Nakba, which is the Arabic word meaning catastrophe. When Israel took control of the West Bank and Gaza Strip in the Middle East conflict of 1967, an additional 300,000 Palestinians fled, the majority of whom went to Jordan. The number of refugees and their descendants has grown to around 6 million, with the majority of them now residing in camps and communities in the West Bank, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. The diaspora has grown considerably, with many refugees establishing new lives in the nations in the Gulf Arab region or in the West. Israel did not let war refugees to return to their homes, even after the fighting in the 1948 conflict had finished. Since then, Israel has not acceded to the demands of the Palestinians for a return of refugees as a component of a peace settlement, believing that doing so would pose a danger to the Jewish majority of the nation. Egypt is concerned that history will repeat itself and that a significant number of Palestinian refugees from Gaza would end up settling there permanently. Nothing is guaranteed in return at all. This is due, in part, to the fact that it is impossible to predict how the battle will come to a conclusion. Israel has said that it has every intention of wiping out Hamas in response to its violent assault in its southern towns, but it has not provided any indication of what may occur next, or who might control Gaza if that were to occur. Concerns have been made as a result that it may reoccupy the land for an extended length of time, which will fuel more violence. The Israeli military has said that Palestinians who complied with its order to evacuate the northern half of Gaza and move to the southern half of the Strip would be permitted to return to their homes once the conflict comes to an end. The Egyptian government is not at ease. El-Sisi has said that battle may continue for a number of years if Israel maintains that it has not adequately destroyed extremists. He offered that Israel keep Palestinians in the Negev desert, which is next to the Gaza Strip, until such time as it terminates its military operations. Israel's lack of clarity regarding its intentions in Gaza, and the evacuation of the population is in and of itself problematic, said Riccardo Fabiani, who serves as the North Africa project director for Crisis Group International. The neighborhood is filled with fear as a result of this confusion. Egypt has been exerting pressure on Israel to let humanitarian supplies to enter Gaza, and on Wednesday, Israel confirmed that it will do so, although it did not specify when. Egypt, which is now experiencing a spiraling economic crisis, is already hosting over 9 million refugees and migrants, including about 300,000 Sudanese, who came this year after fleeing their country's conflict. This number is according to the United Nations, which is an organization that is monitoring the situation. However, many Palestinians and Arab nations have the suspicion that Israel would take advantage of this window of opportunity to carry out long-term population engineering in order to thwart Palestinian efforts to establish a state in Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, all of which were occupied by Israel in 1967. El-Sisi issued several warnings on Wednesday that an exodus from Gaza was planned with the intention of eradicating the Palestinian cause, which he described as the most important cause of our region. He maintained that if a Palestinian state that was demilitarized had been founded via discussions a long time ago, then there would not be a conflict right now. According to H. A. Hellier, a senior associate fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, every historical precedent points to the fact that when Palestinians are forced to leave Palestinian territory, they are not allowed to return back. And this is something that Hellier believes to be true. Egypt does not wish to be a party to the ethnic cleansing that is taking place in Gaza. The growth of hard-right parties in Israel under the leadership of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that speak in positive terms about removing Palestinians from their land has only served to heighten the worries of Arab nations. The language has been less restrained since the onslaught by Hamas, with some right-wing politicians and media pundits calling for the military to raze Gaza and force away its population. A member of the Israeli legislature said that Israel should carry out a new Nakba on Gaza, be concerned about the Hamas. At the same time, Egypt is claiming that a major exodus from Gaza will attract members of Hamas or other Palestinian violent groups into Egyptian land. This might lead to more instability in Sinai, an area where the Egyptian military has been fighting Islamic extremists for years and has at one time blamed Hamas for supporting the jihadists. Since Hamas gained control of the region in 2007, Egypt has supported Israel's blockade of Gaza. Under this embargo, Israel strictly regulates the transit of individuals and the goods that enter and leave the enclave. In addition to this, it was successful in destroying the network of tunnels that ran under the border and were used by Hamas and other Palestinians to smuggle commodities into Gaza. After the Sinai uprising was mostly put down, Cairo does not want to have a new security problem on its hands in this problematic region, said Fabiani. Cairo does not want to have a new security problem on its hands in this problematic region. El-Sisi issued a warning about a situation that would be far more destabilizing: the collapse of the peace accord that Egypt and Israel signed in 1979. He predicted that since Palestinian terrorists were already present in Sinai, the region would become a base for attacks on Israel. Israel would be within its legal rights to take defensive measures and would launch attacks on Egyptian land. He said that the peace that we have achieved would vanish from our hands, and that, all for the sake of the idea of eliminating the Palestinian cause, the peace would be lost. The video for today is over. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Please subscribe, share, and like this video if you like it. Appreciate your continued viewing. Goodbye and good day.